Hi, everyone. Today, I'd like to share with you some thoughts that I've had based around a few discussions lately. And these discussions are with predominantly two people. One of them is a software engineer who's really at the forefront of artificial intelligence and keeps up with that and is helping me to stay abreast of what's going on there. And the other is a gentleman, a little bit older gentleman, who I've brought on to help me out with business development for the Northwest Design Institute. And both of them, in different ways, I had to define what I meant by design, human-centered design, design thinking, even design of a capital D versus design of a lowercase d, right? Human-centered design, design of capital D, lowercase d design are, a bit jargony. We, as design professionals, we generally know what we're talking about, and when we're talking to other design people, when we use those terms. But, it's hard to, sometimes it's hard to remember that other people may not understand what we're talking about. And in the case of the business guy and also the software development guy, when I would say design, the software development guy was thinking aesthetic, form development, digital side, and the business guy was thinking aesthetic and form development on like a traditional physical product design, industrial design sort of side. And I've had to kind of explain to both of them when I talk about design or design thinking, specifically user-centered design or human-centered design or anything like that. It's much more broad, right? You can literally think about design as, yes, it's a digital product or a physical product or a service ecosystem, or you can think about design over time. Think about the experiences of a bank employee throughout one whole day, or the experiences of, say, a college student over a period of years inside the ecosystem of a college or university and all the service touch points that they'll experience over that period of time, right? That's something I'm pretty nerdy about. But human-centered design, which is defined as the design approach that focuses on the needs and requirements of users to create useful and usable systems. It involves applying human factors, ergonomics, usability knowledge, and techniques. That's a pretty sound definition. A little caveat to that is that my mentor, Dr. Elizabeth Sanders, always had kind of a beef with human-centered design because of the point that, and I agree, that all design is human-centered because it's done by humans, for humans, of humans, so it's kind of inherent. But this kind of brings me to the point about the AI. And as AI comes on board more and more, and I do use AI periodically, mostly right now for helping me edit writing and stuff like that, although I've started to play around with how I can use it to learn Python, because I never learned that. I don't come from that field of design. And then kind of also playing around with how I can use AI to build a team, somebody to help with AI specifically to help with marketing and one with copyright and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting stuff. But a lot of this, facilitates a discussion around, I feel it facilitates a discussion around redefining human-centered design, or actually redefining design of a capital D and redefining design of a lowercase d. And we can kind of pick and choose around that. But design of a capital D and design of a lowercase d were much harder to kind of find definitions for, and they're definitely more, maybe a bit more within fields of academia, and definitely perhaps, definitely more contextual. Really hard to find definitions around those, but the ones that I was able to find was that design of a capital D is anything that is designed or done by practicing, professionally trained designers. Whereas design of a lowercase d is design that's done by anybody else. which, to be frank, I think that's, you know, a little arrogant and snooty of design to, you know, to say something like that. But how I've started to use design with a capital D is kind of to hybridize and supplant human-centered design, right? How I've started to use design with a capital D in things that I write and in my communications with both, say, the software engineer as well as my business guy is design with a capital D is anything that benefits and promotes humanity. It promotes human flourishing. It brings out the best of humanity, whereas lowercase d is the rest of it, right? And it could be just the little knickknacks and doodads, the superfluous things that we don't need, but, you know, they're out there in the market for us to buy. Or lowercase d, I would say, certainly say, you know, weapons. You know, design of weapons, that's lowercase d. That doesn't promote and enable human flourishing, enable the best of us, right? So, coming back to the point of AI, this is, you know, how AI is moving us further and further into the third slice of time, where everybody can or will be designing. You know, you can go right now through prompt engineering and start to develop apps for yourself through small language models, not necessarily the large language models of ChatGPT. You don't need to be a coding a software engineer to be able to do that. If you have a 3D printer, very quickly you can start to do prompt engineering through artificial intelligence to start to develop your own parts and forms without going through for me it was painful sometimes to learn some of the engineering software to be able to develop parts in like SolidWorks, for instance. I did not do well in that program, but now I can just type out what I want, and through articulate prompt engineering, I can get a form and then send it to a 3D printer. Additive manufacturing is coming on board more and more each day, and the price of those is coming down and down in price. So again, with the idea that design, the ability to design is becoming available for everybody, whether they do or not. Everybody is able to design. I think it's imperative that we think about, talk about, and practice design with a capital D, right? The design that enables human beings, the design that pushes us forward collectively, and the design that does good for us and for other people, right? Because AI in particular and human beings, I think that, you know, it's a very real possibility that things can go very negatively. Right? So with that in mind, I personally, again, I'd like to put forth the definition, a new definition of design. And design with a capital D is any sort of design that is humanistic and promotes humanity and its continued development and advancement in a positive way, right? So, with all that being said, I welcome a discussion around this topic. Certainly the Socratic method is something that I love. So leave comments or reach out and let's have a talk about this. Also to everybody else, whatever holiday you celebrate this time of year, I hope it's fantastic. And I hope you're doing well. Be good, and I'll see you around. Cheers.